Unit 6 is summarizing multiple references. It's similar to Unit 4, where we learned to first summarize a reference, where we were taking some of the information and not using everything in the source. So remember, we are summarizing. So we're doing the same thing in Unit 6. However, in Unit 6, we are using multiple sources. So this can be magazines, books, an internet source, a reliable internet source. Sometimes it's a provided text, which we often have with IEW. But so they will provide two different sources. Sometimes the sources have multiple topics in them. So the example that I'm about to give is there were many paragraphs about knights. However, because there was so much information, we made the students narrow down what topic they wanted to talk about when it came to talking about knights. It's pretty easy to tell what a paragraph is going to be about if the paragraph is written properly, because the first sentence should give some kind of introduction to let you know what that paragraph is going to be about. So in our example, as they talked about knights, they talked about duties of knights, what knights wore, how knights lived, lots of different things. And in this specific example, we chose, which I didn't personally choose, it's in one of the IEW books, but they chose the duties of knights. So I'm just going to give a quick example of how you fuse an outline. So in this example, we have two source texts. So you could pretend like this is two books if it helps you. So the first keyword outline you're going to do the same way. We tend to want the students to write what the source was, so that if they forget and they want to come back and be like, I don't understand what protect land invades meant, they can look back at the proper source without having to jump around. So they need to write where they got the information from, and then they will still outline the keyword outline the same way. This probably should actually say duties first as a soldier. But then they'll do all this information which helps support the duties of the soldier. Then they will just put this away, not look at it anymore, and they'll look at source 2, also looking for duties of a soldier. Now, you don't want to talk about what a soldier wears here necessarily, unless you think that that fits into duties. You don't necessarily want to talk about maybe where the soldier eats, or how much the soldier, like what the soldier's family life is like. That doesn't really have to do with duties. So they need to keep it specific to the topic. So again, they're still writing about duties, but they'll take, this one was taken from the Age of Knights, and so their first duty is to be a kind soldier. This is what this one talked about. And so it talked about all kinds of stuff that had to do with being a kind soldier. So once they have, from their two source texts, two keyword outlines, they want to keep it to 5 to 7 facts per keyword outline. So we have the initial one and then 4 below, and then the initial one and 4 below. So each of these have 5. Now, our final fused outlines should once again have 5 to 7 facts total. And remember, these are facts. With research writing, report writing, we don't want the kids making facts up. These are facts. So this isn't the creative time. This is the factual time. We want it to be interesting. They can still use great adjectives and adverbs, but we don't really want them changing facts, truth. So what they'll do, a really easy way to do this, is just to go through and pick out the facts that they like the most, that they either think are the most interesting or that they think are the most important. So say, I'm going to write duties up here because first soldier, it should have been first duties, soldier, but duties. So say I like that one, and I'm going to maybe check mark that one because I want to use it. They go into battle and they're paid with land. I like that. And they're loyal and respected. Like, I really like those ones. The other ones are interesting, but not quite as interesting to me. Maybe the next, maybe I like that they get to use tanks and armor, or their tanks are like, their armor is like tanks. And maybe I like that they also have a horse and it has armor. So I think that those are the information that I want to use to talk about duties of a knight. So in my Fuse outline, I am only gonna write in these things. I'm gonna write them in exactly the same way. So I'm gonna take this down and I'm gonna plug it in here. So I'm gonna write it the right way. First duty, I don't write very well this way, is a soldier. Okay, so the exact same keywords just written down here. And then you actually really want to look at this too and see if chronologically or just logically a different order makes sense. So especially as we're fusing them, maybe I want to still end with loyal and respected. So maybe I would do, I like these two together. So maybe I would do number 2 as number 2, but then maybe I would put this one and then that one, and then I'm going to end with their loyal and respected. Okay, so these things that are on our Fuse outline is what they're going to write their paper with. And we have clincher down here just to remind them to put a clincher in their paper. Their topic sentence, whatever their topic is, needs to be their first sentence to introduce what the paragraph is about. And then they need a clincher to wrap up the sentence. Remember, it reflects 2 to 3 words from the topic sentence. So they can be the exact same words or they can be synonyms, but make sure it's not the same sentence. And remember, no, now you know about, or I've told you about, or now you understand, or that's all there is to know about Knights, or something like that. Nothing like that. We want a more complete and not a personal opinion in our clincher. So the clincher should reflect the topic sentence. You don't actually have to write any key words by the clincher because that should just come as you're writing the paper. You'll look at the topic sentence and reuse some of those words as the actual words, repeating them or reflecting them as synonyms. So we take the fused outline and we write our paper on that. We write a rough draft and we write a final, and we make sure we're adding all those great dress ups we know. And this is going to help the students when they go to write their facts of history report in the spring. Another important thing when we're using facts and we're summarizing from references, and especially when we're using, I said facts, so truth, we want to cite our sources. We want to tell where we got them from. A really great resource is called easybib.com, EASYBIB.com, and that will plug in all the information. Students are allowed to use this. I know it feels like cheating if you had to make a bibliography when you were in school. However, they're allowed to use this. This is available. This is our technological age. So if they are writing their facts of history report or any other kind of report like that that's not taken straight out of the IEW book, they need to cite their sources.